Wow, hop, 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 my bro, he's different. RC still here with us. He has a segment about his tweets. That's on Get Up, though. Guys, look at the NFC West. 3 teams tied in the first spot at 6-3. We're going to get to see 2 of them on Thursday Night Football this week. That'll be fun. Max, tell me this. Are the Cards legit Super Bowl contenders?
I think the answer is yes. And I think if you can come out of the NFC West, if your number, which could happen, I mean, they could win it. If you ask me who I like Seattle. Stephen, I know you like the Rams. It could be the Cardinals. If you're even in this position at this point in the season, especially when you're just now getting some defensive players back, when your first-round draft pick hasn't really played up to his potential on defense yet, is starting to get some time. If you're already in this position, yeah, I have to say, if you come out of the toughest division in football, which could happen, of course you're a real Super Bowl contender. And more than that, if you can just keep it close. We saw what Kyler Murray can do with DeAndre Hopkins. Think about a playoff game. You're the team that Arizona's playing against. Your team is playing against the Arizona Cardinals. And they're hanging tough. And it's a close game. And Kyler Murray has his hands on the ball at the end of the game. You are sweating. It's like a nightmare. Because as Ryan Clark said, DeAndre Hopkins in traffic may be the best who ever did it. He's on a short list at the very least, right? A contested ball.
Yeah.
So Kyler Murray, imagine that. You could do everything right defensively, again, on both ends of the play. Everything right defensively on Kyler Murray. Everything right defensively on DeAndre Hopkins. And it still may be an under 50-50 proposition for you to stop them from scoring at the end of the game. All they got to do is keep it close. And they've shown the ability to do that. And they've shown the ability to win the kinds of games that you're thinking you're supposed to lose this game. Like against Seattle in overtime. Like against the Bills just now. Yeah, the Arizona Cardinals have to be considered legit, especially when their defense is healthy. Legit Super Bowl contenders.
You know what? I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you, Max. I get where you're coming from, and I certainly get where Ryan Clark is coming from about D-Hop and obviously Kyler Murray. But can y'all vibe with me on this one? I gotta see. And you know why I feel that way? It's because of Lamar Jackson. What do we say, Max? Am I doing you right? Lamar Jackson, 25. That's how you talk about him, right? In the regular season. But come postseason time, that running ability, that electrifying running ability, we need to see more of what he's going to do come postseason. Now, I think, personally speaking, in terms of the eye test, I think he is a better natural thrower of the football than Lamar Jackson. Obviously, Lamar Jackson's a little better running the football, but Kyler Murray has proven to be electrifying in and of himself. You've got Kenyon Drake running the football for them. You've got D-Hop along with Larry Fitzgerald, along with this kid Christian Kirk that they've utilized as well. I understand it. But I will keep in mind the last 3 games, they've given up 30 or more. Plus, for the last 6 games, they've given 30 or more. You can score on this Arizona Cardinals defense. And you can force Kyler Murray to make some mistakes. He's thrown 8 interceptions on the season thus far, which is not awful. I'm just saying, I look at them right now, and when I think about some of the elite teams in the National Football League, it remains to be seen. I think that they're right there. I think that they'll make more noise in the future because Kyler Murray is that dude. I'm just not sold on them right now as of yet. I gotta see come postseason time. I gotta see it to believe it.
Stephen A., you don't even have to hedge that bet. You are not wrong. This isn't the year. They are a year ahead. And if you listen to what some other people thought about me, even yourself, when they went to hire Cliff Kingsbury, you didn't expect them to be here. When they decided that they were going to move on from Josh Rosen and draft this 5'10" quarterback out of Oklahoma first overall, people didn't buy in. People didn't believe it. And it's just so happened that that dude that plays quarterback, Kyler Murray, is so talented. You get somebody to be dumb enough to trade you DeAndre Hopkins, and now you sped the process up a little bit. And listen, Vance Joseph, who is probably the most famous alum from my high school, the only one to ever win a state championship at quarterback. I couldn't do it. Vance Joseph has some more work to do with this defense. That you score a little bit too easily. You're having to depend on Kyler Murray and late game heroics a little too much for me, but they're just a year off. You know, you look at some of those top tier teams, you think New Orleans Saints, you think the Green Bay Packers. I believe that the Rams are one of those teams that could ascend. I believe the Arizona Cardinals are right in that group right below. And it would take for a tremendous amount of things to happen perfectly in their favor for them to get an opportunity to go to a Super Bowl. But they are building. They are good. They are young. They are exciting. But when you watch the game, and you kind of talked about the eye test, when you watch the game and you look at it and you say, you know what? This isn't Super Bowl caliber football in all three phases. This isn't Super Bowl caliber coaching in all three phases. And so this team has to continue to grow, but they're in the thick of it. They're in the hunt. They're going to be a playoff team, and there's going to be defensive coordinators who are killing themselves, staying in the building, sleeping in their offices, trying to find out ways to stop Kyler Murray in this offense. But I just think that other teams are going to be a little too much holistically for the Arizona Cardinals to get to the Super Bowl this year or contend this year, but I believe they'll continue to grow. And as far as a team in the future, this is going to be one of the teams I believe we talk about a lot as having opportunities to win huge games.
I don't disagree with that at all, but Max, before I hand it to you, let me say just for clarifications for the purposes of our audience on First Take. I have been on the record on many, many occasions lamenting the fact that Cliff Kingsbury got this job. I think that this year he is doing an outstanding job, and he deserves all the credit in the world. Having said that, I don't budge on my position one damn bit. I don't give a damn if he wins the Super Bowl. I'll still give him props, and he will deserve it. My position was based on his resume as a collegiate coach, having never coached on any NFL level, and on top of it all, clearly not winning in college football. He never deserved the job. He bypassed the process, leapfrogged over it, and even though he's successful and is showing that he's doing a good job and he's a very capable coach, and I wish him nothing but the best, my issue is not with him on a personal level. My issue is with the process being violated and minority candidates constantly being bypassed for stuff like that, because a black man would have never gotten a job in the NFL as a head coach with that resume.
Hell no, he wouldn't.
I never will.
Your basic position is if African-American candidates never seem to be able to skip 5 steps, then European American candidates shouldn't either. And for every example you can find of success in spite of that, you don't have an example of success of a black candidate in spite of that because they don't have the opportunity. I appreciate that point, and good on you for, acknowledging the job Kingsbury's done. I want to say something about Arizona. I know why you guys are saying about it. You're like, it's not going to be this year. But if you win the NFC West, you're live. Period. And they're doing this without Chandler Jones. And they're doing this with Patrick Peterson at a point in his career where he's now talking about, yes, I'd be willing to move to safety, right? And you're doing this with Isaiah Simmons not living up to like what we thought he'd be out of the draft right away, at least. All those things are true on the defense, and still the defense is banged up, and still you're in position to win the NFC West. I just don't think we can sleep on Arizona. Like, are they more of a sleeper pick? Is it more in the vein of the Raiders or the Dolphins? Sure, they're ahead of schedule, but they are live. And guys, let's not forget, in a weird kind of COVID year, right, where things are not the way they normally are, some funky stuff could happen.
I mean, definitely some funky stuff can happen, but it has to happen for this team. And you watch him and you believe in the quarterback. But then there are some times you're like, oh yeah, Kyler, he still has to grow. There are some moments where you're saying, okay, DeAndre, he still has to work his way open or work his way into some chemistry with the QB. And then you'll see Christian Kirk explode, and then he'll disappear, and you won't know where he is. I think this team is still rounding in to who they are. They're still figuring out what their formula is and trying to figure out a way that they can win games consistently. And sometimes you got to get some easy one. This team never gets an easy one. It's always a fight. You know, you can look at Seattle. It took the late turnovers by Russell Wilson. You go back and you lose to Miami, and now the Buffalo Bills, it takes a miracle play. And all of those things have to happen for them to just be in the fight in the NFC West. I think as you see this team progress, as you see this coach grow, we'll see this team have commanding leads in the NFC West. They aren't there yet. They aren't
You
that
just gave a
contender yet.
playoff lineup.
Yo.
You just said, like, this team is a good. You just named 3 playoff caliber teams and said they had to win with plays at the end, or they narrowly